So, um, like I said, for me, really, really stepping into the actual lived magic of reality crafting, of alchemy. And what this is it's not willfulness, right? This is a space of connecting deeply in again to our true nature, to this miracle nature, and to the divine plan for our life. It is a space of co-creation. So we're unwinding this conditioning that we're all living with. I think everyone has this like deep impulse for, a really expressed experience of freedom in our lives, whatever that means, in the specific ways to you. This is like a deep human desire. And not only are we currently navigating, an outer kind of structural system that is a system that very much intentionally removes us from our freedom, and from our true nature as free creator beings. But we also are in these funny human systems that are, I say, just Velcro for conditioning. So even if we were to, free ourselves from these outer constraints, we still are living very much, unless we intentionally are living otherwise. And it takes a tremendous amount of really devotion and intention and attention and courage to do differently. If we are on any sort of default in our lives, all we are doing is expressing our conditioning. All we are doing is expressing this patterning that, again, most of it has been born in us before the age of 7. We are bound to these patterns that came from outside of us when we were very little. So how free are we? Even if we get free of all the other things, how free are we really? For us to really feel that deep, expansive freedom, we have to start unwinding this conditioning, and we have to figure out how to live, how to create separate from that conditioning. So these practices that I've been sharing, and you can go back and watch the replays if you didn't catch them, are all practices to help us do that, to help us become aware of the patterns that we're expressing, which I call the stories that we're living. The way that your life is running, the way that your life is showing up to you right now is a direct expression and reflection of the stories that you are telling about yourself and about the world. There is no disparity. It is a direct reflection of it. So if you want to change this outer experience, you have to change these stories. And first, it's kind of liberating and becoming aware of what are the patterns that we're running. And then really stepping into this conscious choice of doing something different, choosing something different. And it has, we of course use the mind to access some of this. But then to establish it as a lived reality, we have to get in action. We have to change the way we actually show up. So all these practices are kind of here to help you do. So this one we're going to do today. I just want you to close your eyes so you can drop into this with me. And I want you to think about your experience with money and or work, or the intersection of the two. How is that showing up in your life right now? Just kind of think about, what is your experience of money? What is your experience of work? What does that feel like to you? And if you have arrived here somehow already experiencing like a really good expression of work and money, you might want to choose a different area. So I want you to look at something that is not working for you, something that doesn't feel good to you, something that you would like to experience something different. And looking at the current reality of something that is not working, I want you to identify 2 or 3 feelings that this experience brings up. So what are the feelings underneath the experience? Identify 2 or 3. So for me with money, it was, and work, it was depletion. it was never good enough, and a lack of safety. So whatever it is for you, just come into contact with that and just become really aware of it. And then I want you to ask yourself, and this is not going too much into the mind, just allow the answer to kind of express through you, allow it to just move through you, whatever comes up. It doesn't need to seem directly related, but I want you to find another time in your life that these three feelings were prevalent. These 2 or 3 feelings. When else have you experienced these feelings? Where else have you experienced these feelings? And just whatever the first thing to come up is, and just allow that to kind of reveal for a moment. And this starts to give us a window into, the nature of the mind and the nervous system to express patterns because they are known, which makes them comfortable, even if they are not desired, even if they are not for our highest good. Most of our system is attempting to just stay in the known, good or not, desired or not, wanted or not. And so as you've kind of let that pattern reveal, can thank your being for communicating with you. Send love, healing, closure to this past experience. And then I want you to take those feelings, and I want you to identify their opposite. What is the opposite of those feelings? And get really clear on what the opposite experience is. What is the experience that you actually want to feel? And then for a moment, really cultivate internally what those desired feelings are within yourself. So allow yourself to really cultivate that experience internally right now and saturate yourself in it. And this new desired experience, the version of you that is living that in relation to money, in relation to work, what does that version of you believe about the world? And what does that version of you believe about yourself? And now your commitment for the next 2 days and longer is to see if you can show up in the active, engaged expression of those beliefs, rewriting those subconscious patterns so that you are no longer living bound to a story you didn't choose, bound to a story that is not even close to a true expression of who and what you really are. You're going to choose the full expression. You're going to choose the vital expression. You're going to choose the expression that actually reveals your miracle nature, that you are creator being here to make magic, here to establish pathways of love and joy and freedom and abundance, not only for yourself, but so that the whole world gets to see that there is a different way for us to live when we choose it. So you can bring yourself back, but come back with whatever is that true commitment, true devotion in your heart to experiencing and living the life that you know you're here to have, to really thriving, to gifting that to yourself and gifting that to the world. And doing that by unwinding the bondage stories and choosing the liberated story, and then having the courage to go show up in action to that version of yourself, to that version of your life. Thank you.